shine so white. Feels like I'm meant to strike. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway. Mountains tallly standing.
Yo, Flows, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you could make it. We have a special one tonight, a special guest, Brian's Logic, and he's going to be demonstrating why the globe is impossible. 100% impossible. It's good to see you, Brian.
Woo-hoo!
We have Michael, Khan, Jeff, Ryan, and PJ also in the house. So I hope you guys are all good.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So Brian says he's only got about an hour with us, so he's got a presentation to give, and I think when you're ready, Brian, you can do it. Appreciate you coming on, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I was supposed to be here a week ago, just things got in the way. But I'm here now, and I'm just trying to promote this flight data because it is, as far as I'm concerned, I know you, like me, were looking forward for years to get it for years. And we were told by the commercial plane commercial pilots on the globe side that I was told by Wolfie it would cost $100,000 or $200,000 to get it. I was told similar type figures from other supposed commercial pilots. It was all like, push it away, never mind that, it costs too much. Then it's like, oh, that won't prove anything, blah, 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 blah. And it's all not get it, type stuff. So we have it now. And would you believe, a Glober got it for me.
Oh. And how long have we been asking Globers now? A few years?
Oh, years.
Wow.
I don't know how long with yourself or others, but I've been asking Wolfie for years and years.
Yeah, at least 3 or 4 years by now.
Or at least and more.
Yeah.
I mean, they had 8. Like Wolfie's in this arena with 8 years. He's around since 2016, so he had 8 years to produce this. He never did, And
there's a reason for that.
Even I've asked Wolfie for it because I know it makes him run off. So when he's been trolling me, I've just asked him that, and then he runs off.
That's
Go on, sorry, PJ.
No, sorry, I was just agreeing. He's always he runs off no matter what you ask him. I've seen him run off with flights. We've seen him run off even back in Brandon's. He used to run off as well. He's always run.
He's a bit of a bully. That's all he ever was. He's a bit of a bully.
Aye.
And he tried and bully flat earthers who we thought were easy prey and stuff like that. As soon as I started bringing up the lift effect some years ago, he was not wanting, or any of the other commercial pilots did not want to deal with that because the lift effect proves everything they're saying completely incorrect.
Gosh.
What I'm going to go through tonight is we did a presentation already on the ball busters, but that involved a portion from QE and Adam. So I obviously can't do their portions tonight because it would take too long to try and add in their portions as well. But what I'm going to do tonight is what I more or less some of what I did on the ball busters presentation, but I'm going to add to that. Whereas I'm going to show, because since we did that presentation and I mirrored it onto my own channel, I've gotten the responses from the ball side. And I'm going to show, as part of the presentation, how they responded to it and what their responses are. I'm going to show through GeoGebra and other means how ridiculous what they're claiming is. Because the pitch data is not an argument, it's just a fact. And that's what we must remember. This is not something that can be argued with. Green is green. It's not purple. It's not red. It's not blue. It's green.
Agreed.
End of story. There's no arguing about that. And this is even more cut and dried. That's what the presentation is going to. So I'll go through the basics of the presentation and show the pitch data and go through it. And then I'll go through their responses to it and show how utterly ridiculous their responses are. So.
Well, they can't really give a response. That's the thing.
They can't. That's the thing about it. They can't. Their responses. When I show the responses, you probably have a good idea what they might be anyway. But their responses are so crazy. What they actually do, we've talked about this over on FED, and what the pitch data will actually do is show the world just how crazy some of our opposition are. Do you know what I mean? Just how crazy these claims they're willing to make are. Because there's certain things you can, let's say with the black swan, they could throw out refraction, even though that kills them. Someone would have to understand why it kills them, within that argument. The average person wouldn't understand why them throwing out the word refraction ends them. They wouldn't understand that, right? But when it comes to pitch data and airflow, they don't have that. They don't have anything. I'm going to show what they have, and what they have is completely contradictory to the pitch data. So, I'm just going to get a cup of water and we get started whenever you're ready. Obviously.
Cool. Good to see you, Roger.
Hey, good to see you too, mister.
Hey, Roger. Hello, Roger.
Hey, Ryan. I'm going to have to take off soon. I just wanted to hop in and say hi to Brian. I haven't had a chance to in like 4 years.
Hey, Roger.
Hey, Brian. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I kicked you out of the stream earlier on, Roger, at the end of it because you were asleep. So I didn't want you to wake up there on your own. You know what I mean?
Proper snoring like that.
I know you were snoring.
How
then
dare you?
I know it makes a change from
Hey, a man has to snore.
He was awake a long time with FTFE yesterday, sir.
I loved it, man. I do. And I love Craig too. I mean, not Craig.
Dude, I conked out, bro.
Okay. So, Brian, when you're ready.
Streaming, isn't it?
Yeah. What I do is, if I could ask everyone to go on to mute while I'm doing it, because I'm terrible. If I hear a little sound, I'm terrible with focusing on the little sound, and it takes me away from my I'm useless like that with concentration.
Gotcha.
Neil over on FED, Neil used to do it on purpose to me. He used to start making little sounds so I'd be put off the trail, that kind of way.
No problem.
Well, I'll jump off anyways, and you guys, I'll be listening on the other side.
What I was going to say is, if it's up to you, Flatzoid, now obviously it's your show, but I was going to say that within the panel here, if anyone ask me to stop and explain something during the presentation, no bothers. But I would keep the ballers out of it. It's your show, but I would keep them out of it.
The link's not free. There's no link for ballers tonight, man.
All right, yeah, because you know what they're going to want to do. They're going to get in the middle of it and stop the presentation from happening.
Exactly. That's why I even put my chat to subscribers only tonight, and I put it just for us the link, so nobody else can come in, because they will try and derail it, because this is very, very detrimental to their belief system.
Guaranteed.
Exactly. And I sent you, for anyone here that wants it, I sent you the PDF in Skype. I'm going to have to get you the link to the origin of the PDF. I'll go through that little bit of history in the presentation anyway. But we actually verified. I'll go through it. Wait till we get started on the presentation.
Sure.
So I'm going to go and share my screen. Let me see. 1 second now. Just give me a moment. I'll come back to you.
No stress. Yeah, it's got like a little share screen on the bottom. Looks like a computer screen with an arrow.
I didn't have my windows up, so that was my problem. So yeah.
Let me just share it quickly, and it should be. There we go.
So it's sharing now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second then. Okay. Sorry now, I'm just not as used to restream. I have things a little bit unorganized here. Okay, ready to start? I think that's a yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Great.
Yes.
So you should be seeing a big airplane diagram on your screen. So
I see it, sir.
All right, this pitch data. I've been looking for this data for years. I know Flatzoid's been looking for it for years. I don't know who else has been looking for it, but I'm sure there's others. Or even if there isn't, there's at least two of us who've been asking for years. And I'm sure, and other people, I'm not saying that no one less asked for it. I'm just saying that it's a good few years ago that we started asking for it. And I know myself that I was told that it would cost ridiculous prices to get it. And it went from that to, it won't prove that in any way, which means it definitely proves something when they're trying to put you off the trail. And with people like Wolfie and other commercial pilots on the Globe side, claim commercial pilots, who would not get it and didn't want to know about it and did their best to avoid it. And funnily enough, a baller called Buck Sodbuster, a guy called Steve, actually got it for me. And I was shocked when I found out he was a baller. I didn't realize at first he was a baller. Turns out he was a baller. And I don't think he realized what he was getting. He said he couldn't read it. He didn't know. I think he didn't know what was beyond it. I don't know if he realized how devastating it was going to be, but he got it for me. Long story short, anyway, just so you know, we verified this data. Me and QE, Adam, and Nathan, we went and we found the source, and even he sent us the source afterwards. He wasn't trying to hide that, but just because it came from a baller originally, I was like, hang on, is something wrong here? Is this some kind of made up PDF? But no, it's an official PDF from the NTSB, and the link for that I forgot to send to Flatzoid, but I will get it for Flatzoid. It was put into the live chat on the Ballbusters presentation, so I can get it there. So the link for that will be given, but it's not that important. It's like we showed and proved it. We showed it live, it happening. Loads of people went there and downloaded the PDF. So there's no argument about the trustworthiness of the PDF or its official position. Like, it's not a made up one. It's the real deal, basically. Now, it is from the NTSB, so I must state that the NTSB deals with crashes and different things like that. But not everything is a big crash. And for this data, from this flight, the flight had an engine failure between San Francisco and Honolulu. I'm not sure where the flight, I can't remember where the flight was going to, but they had to make an emergency landing in Honolulu. It was just one of the engines went out. No one was injured. Nobody was killed. Everybody deplaned, and it's all in the PDF. Everyone deplaned. They landed fine. Everyone deplaned. There was no problem. So there's no injuries or deaths involved in this. So I wouldn't have been able to use, and I wouldn't have used the data if there was anyone badly injured or anyone killed, obviously, on the flight. So just so everybody knows, this data is from a flight where there was no injuries, no deaths. All that happened was an engine issue, so they had to make an emergency landing. But there was no crash landing, none of that. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's get started. Right. In this, I'm going to go through some of the basic presentation I already went through on Ballbusters, but I'm going to add into it at the end, as part of the presentation, the responses from our opposition to that presentation, right, and how ridiculous it is. Now, obviously, there's things covered in that presentation that won't be covered in this, because there was 3 parts to that, and only one part was mine. Another part was Adam's, and another part was QE's. So I'm just going to go start at exactly this part, which is my part, and I'm going to add on the responses from the opposition. Okay, very basic stuff. Everyone knows. I know any flat earther who out there knows basic flat earther who's been around for a while. They'll know everything about this. They've seen all this before. So the basics I'm going to go through at the start would purely be for people who don't know any different, who are brand new to the thing, someone who's completely green as grass. So there's 4 what they call forces in flight. There's thrust, right? Drag, lift, and weight. Thrust opposes drag. Lift, this is really important, opposes weight, right? So one opposes the other, or weight opposes lift and drag opposes thrust, right? So that's the way it works, right? There's the basics of the 4 what they call forces. Although lift is not a force, they just call it a force. Here is simplified aircraft motion, same again, just to show from NASA, same exact thing, lift, thrust, drag, weight, right? Lift, weight, plane rises, lift overcomes weight, plane rises, weight overcomes lift, plane falls. Drag overcomes thrust, plane slows, thrust overcomes drag, plane accelerates, from NASA. Just really basic stuff to do with flight. But it's basic, but it's everything. Those four forces are everything when it comes to flight. So the reason I'm showing this diagram, even though this is showing a descent, right, is here the word horizontal reference. So what I noticed is when I was looking for these diagrams, I used to be able to find these type of diagrams, loads of them, a couple of years ago, and they had the word horizontal on them, left, right, and center. Now I'm finding it extremely hard to find diagrams for flight that show the word horizontal. They'll put the word level in because they want to try and beg the question with level, which is of changing the definition of level, which is ridiculous and pointless, which I'll show anyway in the presentation. But they try to do that. They don't want the word horizontal. So when you're referencing flight, always speak about it as horizontal. Try not to use the word level because they'll agree with you on the ball side because they will have already begged the question when you say the word level. Even if it's stupid what they do, right? That's the reason why I focus on diagrams that show the word horizontal. Because horizontal is level, right? That is level flight. Horizontal. We all know horizontal is level, level is horizontal. But they want to try and change the definition of level because they have to, basically. Now, so this, as I said, the whole purpose of showing this is that this pitch angle below, right, the horizontal reference is their descent angle, right? That's the reason I'm showing it. On to the next one, same again. Horizontal plane. I know the diagram's not great, but you can see it there. Horizontal plane here. This is a pitch angle above horizontal, right? Within a rate of climb, right? So everything is referencing horizontal. Same again, forces in a flight. Here you have horizontal access from NASA. So the pitch angle is above horizontal. So horizontal is the thing, right? Horizontal is a constant. It's a constant orientation. It does not change. Like vertical is the same orientation. It never changes. Those two orientations cannot change. They're the be all and end all of all coordination in our world, basically, right? So move on to the next one. That was just this stuff down here to do with the maths down here. That's only stuff to do with the climb, so it's not part of the presentation. They don't need that. I just need to show that the horizontal reference is here and the pitch of the aircraft in its climb is reference to that horizontal. Next one is here. All right, I'm going to make this slightly bigger. Right, this is really important for your understanding of flight. If you're someone brand new, is what they call the angle of attack. The angle of attack is not the nose of the plane, but the chord line of the wings, which is the underneath leading edge of the wing. Now, there's a chord line at the top, along the top of the wing, at the leading edge, and at the bottom. So the whole leading edge basically is the chord line. If you have a low angle of attack, like you have up here, it's a reference to horizontal, right? And that means that there might be a 2-degree angle of attack above horizontal, right, for this plane here. Now, let's just say this plane is flying at 500 miles an hour, right? If it raises its angle of attack here in the second part of if we come down from the top up to the one in the middle, if it raises its angle of attack, let's just say from 2 degrees to 4 degrees, and it holds the same speed, airspeed, what will happen is it will rise in altitude because it is generating lift, because thrust generates lift and angle of attack generates lift, right? So they must keep a balance on those two. So for a pilot to be flying at 500 miles an hour and have a 2-degree above horizontal pitch, right, and hold the same altitude while going up to a 4-degree horizontal pitch, then they would have to pull back on their speed, right? So they have to go back to 450 miles an hour or something like that to hold the same altitude and but have a higher angle of attack. Now, well, we have the lower one here, the lower part of the diagram, where you might have a 6-degree above horizontal pitch, right? Now, to hold the same altitude with that much pitch, you would have to pull back on the speed more. So that would mean that you'd have to go back to maybe 400 miles an hour or something like that. So you'd have to lose 100 miles an hour from the top diagram to the bottom to hold the same altitude, right? Because your pitch angle is changing. So if you hold the same speed, what's going to happen? If you change the pitch, hold the same speed, what's going to happen is you're going to rise in altitude, right? If you hold the same pitch but increase your speed, you're going to rise in altitude. If you hold the same degree of pitch but decrease your speed, you're going to drop in altitude. So what they must do is they must hold an altitude in the sky. And the reason they must hold an altitude in the sky is not just for convenience, but because their position, especially commercial aircraft, their position in the sky, right? It's like they're on a highway, a super sky highway. There's loads of these sky highways in the sky, right? So sky highways. Sky highways going on up above us, and there are different altitudes for different flights and different planes flying in different directions. So if I'm a commercial pilot and I want to change my altitude, I must request with ground control to do that. I must say, can I change from 35,000 feet to 37,000 feet or 34,000 feet because of weather or because of this, that, or the other thing? And they have to then okay for me to do that. So to make sure that the direction I'm flying, I'm not going to fly into the path of an oncoming plane, and I'm also not going to fly into the back of a plane that's flying in the same direction as me because I'm flying slower than I am. So I can't just, as a commercial pilot, I can't just change my altitude. I can't just decide to do that, right? You must request from ground control, right? So it's very important that the pitch and speed relationship is working perfect for that altitude to be held. Because any messing around with pitch is going to change your altitude depending on the airspeed. And any change of airspeed while holding the same pitch, or let's say angle of attack with the wings, that's going to change your altitude. So you can't have that. Now, obviously, if you're flying around the globe, you're going to follow an altitude. You have to follow a circle, right? So that means you're going to have to basically, all of this goes out the window. Basically, what we're looking at here, all these aerodynamics of flight, when you're trying to fly around the globe, they all go out the window because they can't apply, because you must have a below horizontal pitch, which won't work. And I'll go into that in a minute why you can't have that. Here's an attitude indicator. We all know these. We've all seen these, right? The orange bars here, they're 0 degrees. That's your horizontal reference. So your horizontal gyroscope, right, that is in the plane, that is your reference for this attitude indicator, right? That holds a horizontal position. It creates the horizontal reference plane, and that is your 0 here, these 2 orange bars, right? And the whole purpose of the gyro is to hold rigid in space. They often will have pendulous vanes on them, and the whole point of pendulous vanes is for acrobatics, is that if a plane is doing big acrobatics, it can knock out the gyro. The mechanical gyro can be knocked out. So the whole point of the pendulous vane is as a damper system. That's what it does. So it increases its rigidity in space, not decreases it. Because if you, what we'll go into a bit later, if you want to make claims about a sphere Earth and a gyroscope, then you've got to claim that they're fluid in space, not rigid in space. Right? We'll go into that in a minute. So here is the same diagram again, but I have a pink line over the top of it. The reason I have that is just to show that this would be, let's say, if you were flying at a 2 or 3 degree above horizontal pitch, then this here, this orange, pink, purple line, whatever it is, this would be the chord line, the angle of attack in relation to this these 2 orange bars, which be a horizontal. So that would be your angle of attack, which could be 3 degrees above the horizontal. And that would be an average for the average commercial airliner. That would be the average pitch, 3 to 5 degrees throughout a flight at cruising altitude, because you have a fast speed, a slow speed, and a cruising speed. The cruising speed is your constant, right? So that would be, if you were flying, that's what you'd want to see. You want to hold that kind of position. If you're a pilot, that's what you'd want to be looking at on your attitude indicator throughout all of cruising altitude. Which, if you were flying, like the last long flight I had, proper long flight I had was between London and Los Angeles, and that was 11 hours. So that means, with the exception of takeoff and landing, which you could take maybe an hour to flight out, you're talking 10 hours of basically being at cruising altitude. So there's 10 hours of, at all times, having a pitch above horizontal. Your angle of attack and your pitch of the nose is above horizontal at all times for that flight. Now, when it comes to the pendulous vanes, they make no difference. All they do is, all the pendulous vanes do is, as I said, is the damper system for these gyros. So if you're flying in a commercial flight, unless there's a lot of big banking or something happening going on, which doesn't happen with a commercial airliner, you don't have a situation where the gyro can even be knocked out, but they're there as a safety measure anyway. But that's all they do. Our opposition was saying for years that the pendulous vanes work through gravity just because they have a weight at the end of them. It's just begging the question. It's nonsense. They don't do any of that. They're just a damper system. That's like all damper systems. The whole purpose of them is to stop movement, not to create a movement or to help to create a movement. That's just stupid nonsense from stupid people. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a bit on this. So this would be, let's say the green is the globe Earth. I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Right, this red line would be like an altitude above a globe. Right, here is the airplane's direction of travel, this blue line. So as I showed earlier on with the other diagrams, the airplane is always keeping a pitch above horizontal. Now, there's a very good reason for that, but just to show here, they're always doing that, right? So if they were to fly around the globe, that is impossible because the blue line is a horizontal made in GeoGebra, so this is a definite perfect horizontal, and this red line would be an altitude above the surface of a globe Earth. So this altitude here would be, let's just say, this is a bit over exaggerated for visual effect. This would be about 5-6 miles above for a commercial airliner, above the surface of a globe. So it wouldn't be as far away as that, but it wouldn't matter. It still would be a circle. So for a plane to fly with an above horizontal pitch and an above horizontal angle of attack, which it has to have, the angle of attack is the reason why they have above horizontal pitch, then they can't fly around this red circle. It's just not possible for them to do that, right? They have to fly with an angle of attack and an above horizontal, an above pitch, above this blue horizontal line. There's no other way to do it. That's the only way they can complete what they're trying to complete. So they can't fly around this red line and fly with an above horizontal pitch. It can't be done. But that's what our opposition want to believe is happening. So if I just go on to the next one, sorry, I want to do this one. So this here is 2 hours over a globe. So this is exactly 6 miles. This diagram is from GeoGebra. It's an exact 3959 globe that this is taken from. This point A here that you'll see me, this is 6 miles above the surface of the globe. This blue serrated line is a horizontal. This arc length here that I have taken out as a slice from their globe, that is 1,000 miles of travel over their curved surface. This blue line is 1,000 miles in a horizontal. And so if a plane is flying at 500 miles per hour, right, in 2 hours, they'll travel 1,000 miles. So 2 hours later, if we go by how flight works, and we go by how aerodynamics work, 2 hours later, then if they were to fly over a globe, then they would be 132 miles from the globe surface. So the globe surface would be 100, more or less in a straight line down to an exact 1,000 miles away from their starting point. The globe surface would be 132 miles below them, right? Now that'd be a crazy altitude increase. Now, if we take that 6 miles away, it would be 126. So basically what it means is that if a pilot flies a commercial airliner as planes fly in the way they're supposed to fly them, then if we lived on a globe, then 2 hours later, what would happen is that the pilot would be 126 miles out of altitude. So they'd be 126 miles completely out of altitude because they wouldn't be able to follow that curved path. They wouldn't be able to follow a curved path because they'd have to follow the laws of aerodynamics. But the reason they have to follow those laws and the reason they have to have an above horizontal pitch is because of the lift effect, right? This is the reason, and this is the commercial pilots I dealt with on the globe side, and anyone I dealt with that was a commercial pilot outside of that. As soon as I bring up the lift effect, they have nothing. They don't know what to say because what can they say? They understand the lift effect. The lift effect works off of horizontal. So just to show here, this blue line here in the center is a horizontal line. Now, this diagram is a little bit, it's exactly what I wanted, exactly what I needed for the presentation. But unfortunately, it's from a book or something. It shows exactly what I want, but it's a little bit blurry. But I'll go through it anyway. This blue line here in the center is your horizontal line. So that's 0 degrees. So that's this. That's what that is, right? So here you have two serrated lines. You have a serrated line up here, right? You have, see this blue line, blue straight line, that's your, what it says, chord line of the wings. And these are showing the profile of these airfoils. It's more the correct term for wings in that industry is airfoils. So they're showing the profile of these airfoils orthographically side on, and they're showing this serrated line up here. What that means is that, and it says zero lift line. What that means is that if they have a pitch above horizontal too far, what happens is they lose lift and they hit a point called a stall, and that's dangerous because it means they're not flying then. They actually start to fall out of the sky because they've pitched up above horizontal too much. The chord line's angle of attack is too high above the horizontal plane, and they actually then they end up, as I said, in what they call a stall. So they end up too vertical up in the sky, and they end up falling out of the sky. And supposedly it's a very scary thing, and it's very difficult to deal with as a pilot. Now, so they have to really watch out for that, because that means they're going to fall out of the sky. But right, if you come down here and look at the line, the serrated line down here, right at the bottom, this is showing the same situation but in the other way. This serrated line here at the bottom where it says zero lift line, that is actually referencing this blue line up here, this horizontal. So that is your horizontal being referenced again. And it's showing the straight chord line below, an angle below that serrated line. And that's why it's saying zero lift line. Because as soon as the chord line goes below that zero line, what happens is that the plane starts losing lift. Now, it doesn't matter what type of wing, even a cambered wing will hold a certain amount of positive lift with a below horizontal pitch, right? With a below horizontal angle of attack, the cambered wing will still hold a certain amount of positive lift, up to about 3 to 4 degrees below horizontal. But when I say a certain amount, if you're 2 degrees below horizontal with your angle of attack with a cambered wing, you're only going to be generating about 60% positive lift. That means you're only accounting for 60% of the weight of the plane. That means 40% of the weight of the plane is not being accounted for. So yeah, you will generate a bit more lift with a below angle of attack, a below horizontal angle of attack with a cambered wing, but you're still not accounting for the full weight of the plane. To account for the full weight of the plane, the angle of attack of the chord line must be above horizontal, right? That's the only way in any plane that they're actually consistently generating enough lift to account for 100% of the weight of the plane. So if they're not generating 100% positive lift, then they're not generating enough lift to oppose the weight of the plane. If they have 60% positive lift, that means they have 40% negative lift, which means they're going down, right? That's what it means. So it doesn't matter if someone says, oh, a cambered wing can do this, that, and everything. That means nothing, because the cambered wing is still, once it has a below horizontal angle of attack, that once that chord line is below horizontal, then it's losing lift. That means it can't keep the plane in the air. It is falling out of the sky, just not as fast as other wing types will allow it. It's still falling out of the sky. It's still losing altitude. That's the end of that. Now, you'll also hear ballers come up with the B-52 bomber, because what they want to do there is mess around and say, oh, the B-52 bomber, that has its nose below horizontal. Yes, it's designed to have its nose below horizontal so they can see where they're dropping the bombs. That's the whole purpose of that. So it's designed so it can fly with its nose below horizontal, but it doesn't matter because the chord line of its wings is still positively above horizontal. Its angle of attack of the chord line is still above horizontal. So sometimes they will fly the B-52 bomber with its nose below horizontal so they can see what's going on, but the chord line of the wings of the B-52 is still, the angle of attack is still above horizontal. And that's what's important, right? Because it's not where the nose is, it's where the chord line is in relation to horizontal, right? So with the B-52, it's designed that way to be able to do that. And not that it has its nose below horizontal all the time, but it can fly with its nose below horizontal and keep its chord line angle of attack above horizontal, which means it's still holding lift and still flying like horizontally in the air, but the pilots can see what's going on a bit better below. That's the whole purpose of it. So don't get sidetracked with that. Okay, now onto like, even though everything I've shown here, this is absolute proof. Technically, there should be nothing more needed. This is how planes fly. There should be nothing more needed. But because people in the world won't accept anything that's not official. So coming from me, they won't accept it. Even if I'm a commercial pilot, unless I'm there representing Boeing or whoever, they can still hand wave me. So that's why, after many years of effort, we eventually got the pitch data. And here it is. And everything I've said is all shown to be 100% true by this data. So the orange line here that you can see, squiggly line, that is the pitch, right? The 0 degrees over here, that is 0 degrees. And you can come down here to where it shows the black line here, and that is the altitude pressure. Excuse me. I was drinking fizzy water. That is the altitude, right? As you can see with the pitch, right, when that's steady, right, the altitude is steady, and they're both straight lines. The 0 degrees here, right, the pitch at all times is above the 0 degrees. The only times where there's any problems, I'm just going to zoom in so you can see, not problems, but where there's any big movement of pitch, this is takeoff, right? So you come down here, here is takeoff, right? As the plane flies here, and for 2 hours of this flight, it flew with no problems, right? It didn't have to change altitude, didn't have to do anything. But then here, it had to change altitude. So you can see there was pitches down the way and went slightly below, maybe a degree below or horizontal or something like that. And you can see down here that goes with the altitude. So as they pitched slightly down, they dropped in altitude down, and then they went back to normal, and they were pitched above horizontal, again, back to normal, and they flew straight. Then they had to pitch down again and drop in altitude again, as you can see here, the black line, and they went straight along here, and then they had to pitch up because they wanted to go up in altitude, so they pitched up, right? And when they did that, brought them back up in altitude, above where they were originally. They flew straight for a while, and then they had to land. They had engine issues or whatever along that way. And this here is all the pitch changing as they were landing, which is the black line here, right? So this is the pitch data. This shows, right? I'm just going to go over here. You can see. It won't zoom in anymore for me. There is 0, right? So you can see the 0 line along here. The only time that the pitch came down and even touched the 0 line was when they were changing in altitude, going down. And the only time they had big pitches up was when they were rising in altitude. But for this flight, we're going to concentrate on just this portion here. So this is 2 hours from 8:05 to 10:05, right? And if I just go to the next one, you can see that for those 2 hours of that flight, between when it was flying between San Francisco and Honolulu, there was at no point did they change altitude, which is shown here by the altitude pressure here. The black line is a completely straight line. Try and zoom in a bit so you can see it. So it's a completely straight line altitude pressure here. And at no point did they change their pitch. Their pitch was a constant 2-3 degrees, what it is, about 3 degrees or something above horizontal. So the pitch line here, this black line below it, I'm just going to get just a second, just so you can see. Give me a line, right? So this here, I'm just going to, so the audience can see clearly, this is 0 degrees. That's horizontal. And the orange is the pitch it had above that. So that's for 2 hours of flight. Now remember, here, I showed 2 hours of flight, right? What it would mean on a globe and what it would mean if you were traveling via aerodynamics as they actually work in reality. It would mean that you'd end up 126 miles above the altitude you should be at. That's what it would mean, right? But it's shown here in the pitch data, right, that for those 2 hours, because we worked it out at what speed this plane was going at, and the plane happened to be going at almost exactly 500 miles per hour. When you go by the nautical and statute mile and the ground speed and airspeed, we worked it out, and it was going exactly 500 miles an hour, more or less. So for these 2 hours, that plane traveled 1,000 miles, right? 1,000 statute miles. And that would mean, right, that between point A and point B, at no point did it pitch below horizontal. So if the Earth was a globe, what would mean is that the plane would have ended up 126 miles out of altitude. That means it would be 126 miles above the altitude it would have to be at on a globe. But the pitch data shows that the Earth is not a globe, but flat. It proves that the Earth is flat. This is not even an argument, as I said earlier. You can't argue with this. This is just the way things are. This is just a fact. It's just, as I said, green is just green. It's not red. It's not blue. It's not purple. It's green. Same way as red is not green. Red is red. Purple is not purple. Or purple is not green. Purple is purple. Simple as. There's no argument here. You can't argue against this. So you don't need to argue it. It's just, it is what it is. Now, our opposition, I'm just going to show, I show here just the pitch. I just amalgamated the pitch and the altitude, so everyone can see where the pitch changed and when they changed the pitch, how it affected the altitude, blah, 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 blah. A lot of the time our opposition, they're saying, oh, the plane just holds an altitude and it follows around a curve and blah, blah. It's like, no, like for years we're telling them not to heap of rubbish. And here we are, the pitch data proves it. At no point, the blue line here is the horizontal. At no point does that plane pitch below horizontal. Not that I'd expect it to do so, but this is the truth of the matter. So the whole flight was for that whole flight, they were referencing this blue line, which is the horizontal, from takeoff to landing. So from San Francisco to Honolulu, at no point did they reference a globe, as is proven by the official NTSB pitch data of this flight. There's no way around this. Can't be beaten. Can't be argued with. It is what it is. So here is the pitch data again. This is those 2 hours. So this is the blue line is the horizontal. This is the orange line above it, and here is a blue line, straight line above a globe going 1,000 miles. This is the arc of that globe, 1,000 miles on that globe. Which one does that fit? Does it fit this serrated blue line, or does it fit this serrated arc length? Obviously, it fits this serrated blue line, proving without a doubt that the Earth is a flat plane. No if, buts, no maybes. There is no globe. Globes don't exist, right? They only exist as a toy. They don't exist. We don't live on a globe. If we did, there'd be absolutely no way for an airplane to fly over that globe, because you would have to hold lift, which you can't do because you'd have to pitch down. Like, there is no way that you can fly a plane and over this curved surface and not pitch down. You would have to pitch down, and if you did pitch down, you'd be going below the zero lift line. And that means you're losing lift, so you're falling out of the sky. Right? No way around it. Now, technically, I could stop the presentation there, right? But as an added bonus, I want to add in what the ballers are claiming, right? This is what the ballers are claiming, right? This is how ridiculous their claim is. I'm going to go through it first here, and then I'm going to show the ridiculousness of it in GeoGebra. Actually, no, I think I'll actually, 1 second, I think I'll actually share my GeoGebra screen and then come back to that. So if you just give me a moment, I just want to share a different screen. Window.
While he's doing that, I just want to say thank you guys all for coming. Hit the likes, share the show, subscribe to Brian's channel. Link is in the description. And awesome job, by the way, Brian.
Thank you. I hope you're enjoying it.
Fantastic, Brian. They can't deny this. That little section, that 2-hour section says it all, man. Says it all.
Yeah.
Can I ask Brian one question right quick? Hey, Brian, can I ask you? Now, what's your favorite color? I had to make a QE reference, man.
Most of the time it's black, but it changes from day to day, so it's hard to know. What was I going to say? I was going to say something before I went on for. Yeah, the whole you were just saying there, English PJ saying about the 2 hours. The whole lot of that pitch data, because it shows how the altitude changes with the pitch. So the pitch is going to change the altitude, as I was describing earlier on. And like that's what it's going to do. They're holding the same speed, but they change the pitch angle, and that changes the altitude. So the whole lot shows, without a doubt, that the Earth is a flat plane.
Absolutely.
No way around it. So this next section there, I'll go back and I'll do this now, shows, if you go back on mute, if you don't mind, shows their responses to it. This is how ridiculous their responses are. Okay. So in GeoGebra here, right, Just you're all seeing this moving. Just could you just confirm, Flatzoid?
Yeah, Brian, I'll answer for him.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Just so I just wanted to know that you were okay. Right. So what I have here is I have a globe. This is 1,000 miles. This blue section here is 1,000 miles on the globe. This blue line up here, to show you, that blue line there is a horizontal that's 1,000 miles long, right? This red line here, that is 6 miles altitude above the surface of that globe. Okay, no way out of that's 6 miles above the globe, right? So if a plane is going to fly from point A here and follow this red line, they're going to have to pitch below horizontal, right? And which means they're not going to have lift, which means they're in opposition to what the pitch data is showing, which means they're wrong, which means it can't happen, basically. But this is what the ballers have come up with, right? Because they don't have anything else, right? The green line here is a tangent. So I'm making a tangent to what would be a 6 mile circle above their globe, right? And I just want to show, right? So I'm going to bring it back to just to there, right? So it's just almost, that's it, right? So there it is, right? The tangent is fitting that horizontal line. So what they're trying to say, this is how ridiculous it is. What they're trying to say is, as right the plane flies, right, that right as it flies, that a new tangent is created. So that's a new horizontal is created, right, all the time, and each new horizontal then that will be the new 0 degrees in the attitude indicator, and that's how the plane keeps an above horizontal pitch above horizontal, because and this get this horizontal changes its orientation in relation to itself. That's what I've been told, right? If you ever heard something so stupid, I never have. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. But I just have the angle here. So there is the tangent, right? As I say 0, right? Matching the horizontal. As I move it along, right, following that red line. Now I have it zoomed in so you can't see it. But as you can see, as it's flying along, you can see that the pitch is now below that horizontal, because I have the tangent pitch up here. Just zoom in. There's the tangent pitch, right? So as I change, as I use, like let's say, bring this line along, right, you will see that pitch change. So I'll zoom right out and I'll show you, right? So how can this tangent be your horizontal, right, when you have to pitch below the initial horizontal, right, to follow a tangent along a globe? There you have it. You have, if I keep on going, right, you're going to end up with something like, I think it's 7.24 degrees, I think, for 500 miles. So if I just go here, right, how can the plane follow this curved path and end up with a 7.24 degree pitch below this horizontal line? How can it do that? It can't, right? Not only will it have lost lift way back here, it would start losing lift. Right at this point here, it's losing lift. Losing lift. It's like it's falling out of the sky. It's not even going to it won't make this far. The plane is going to fall out of the sky before it gets to this point. But according to what they're trying to say is that horizontal changes its own orientation, and the plane just follows that orientation, right? This is how ridiculous their claim is. But that would require a pitch below this blue line. Now, that would mean that you lose all lift, and you'd be opposing the official NTSB pitch data, because what they're trying to claim here is that this is why they always go on about the pendulous vanes, is that it's the gravity vector. The pendulous vanes, it just follows the gravity vector, and then that pulls the gyro around with it. This is the nonsense they're trying to say, right? But that would mean gyros are not rigid in space, but fluid in space within their path. And when I put that to them and a commercial pilot on their side, Trevor Austin, they weren't happy at all about it. You're claiming a fluid in space gyro, which makes the gyro obsolete. The whole purpose of gyros is they're rigid in space. So it's not an argument against the pitch data. It's not an argument against lift. It's not an argument. You can't change horizontal. It's only the nonsense they're trying to come up with to beg the question and help themselves not feel the pain of accepting reality. That's all it is. So, but just to show an extra to this, I'm just going to go back into, just a second, back into here and change my screen one more time, back to select the window.
And that's something that they do like to do, though. They want to change physics because they can't accept that it's not showing what they wanted to.
Exactly, they're trying to change reality, right? But this is how ridiculous. Exactly, we're all like, this is going on with years where they're trying to change reality, where they're trying to take reality and turn it into something it's not. What they were showing, what I showed there, is exactly their claim, right? And their claim is basically stating that horizontal is a tangent, and that tangent changes from point to point on a globe. So horizontal changes from point to point on the globe. But that makes horizontal an obsolete orientation because it's not a constant then. When horizontal is not a constant, it means horizontal doesn't exist, which it can't on a globe. So what they're actually doing is admitting, isn't it? They're admitting horizontal doesn't exist within their paradigm.
And then, this is that issue I had with Bob the science guy. You saw when I debated him on Flight. This is the same issue he had.
Yeah, he wants to change horizontal into something it's not. But when you do that, you make gyros obsolete, you make the lift effect obsolete, and you make horizontal obsolete and vertical obsolete, because you can make a right angle with a straight line to a tangent, but that's not going to be vertical because it can't be, because the next point on, your next point on will be a tangent at a different degree, right? Angle, slope to your past tangent. So that means how can horizontal be at a different slope to horizontal? When horizontal is rate of slope 0, you can't change horizontal and to a different horizontal that's at a different slope or pitch grade to horizontal. It's crazy. You can't do it. It just can't be done. Not only can it not be done, but the pitch data shows that it's not being done. None of that is happening. So this is the thing they're going to come up with, and they are coming up with crazy things, but it's purely crazy stupidity that they need to put out there to try and confuse as many people as possible, right? But I think this is one of those things that they won't be able to confuse the average Joe Soap on the street, because the average person on the street knows that that's impossible. That what they would be saying about horizontal changing into some other thing would be impossible, because horizontal can't change. It's a constant reference. And if it was changing, then it would show in the pitch. And I'm going to show exactly why it would show. For anyone who may not understand why it would show, this is it. Just let me get a line. So I'm just going to make that a little bit thicker so you can all see it. A bit thicker than that. Now, so this line here, this is 0, right? This is horizontal. So what they're claiming, right, is that the pendulous veins, right, reference 109 year out of date gravity force, right, and which pulls the pendulous veins weight towards the center of the globe, right, and by doing that, that then causes the horizontal gyroscope to then change from its position of this to this and this and this and this. So now that 0 is not where it was originally, it's here, right? But what they forget about is this, right? Let's give me another line, right? So let's just say this is your pitch degree above that starting horizontal, right? This is how ridiculous their claims are. So if that's your pitch degree, I'll just make it a different color, just so people can differentiate, right? So if that's your pitch degree above this blue line, right? This purple line is the pitch degree above this blue line. If they were flying around a globe and the pendulous vein, right, is referring to a force of gravity which is 109 years out of date in their paradigm, and it was then pulling, right, because it was going towards the center of a globe, it was then pulling the 0, right, out of its initial position, then this would be happening. But there's two problems. Number one, I'll go into the second problem in a while. The first problem is this. If the mechanical gyro changes its orientation, that doesn't change the pitch, the initial pitch of the aircraft. So if the mechanical gyro changes its initial position, if 0, instead of being here, an hour later is down here, right? That's not going to make any difference to this purple line. This purple line must be controlled by the pilot and set then by the pilot as the autopilot takes over. It'll just hold that, right? The autopilot there's no connection between the mechanical gyro and its cage and the plane. Just because the mechanical gyro changes, if a mechanical gyro decided that 0 was down here an hour later, that doesn't make any difference to this pitch, to this purple line that was set or held, that has been set or is being held by the pilot. The pilot or the autopilot would have to be psychically connected, right? Psychically connected to the mechanical gyro, and then have to be following it constantly. So there will have to be a constant change, right? Someone constantly they are changing this pitch down to follow that 0. That's what would have to happen. As well as that, everyone in the plane would have to constantly have their seatbelts on, and nobody could ever get a drink. There'd be no staff able to go around with the trolleys. They'd all have to be put away, because what would happen is they would be falling forward, right? So everyone would have to be strapped in because they'd constantly be trying to follow this blue line. Now, do they do that? No. Is that shown in the pitch data? No. What's shown? That none of that happens. That's just crazy baller nonsense, right? Crazy ideas from stupid people who have psychological issues who can't handle reality. That's what
I love how you say it.
Amen.
Yeah, we all know, and that's how ridiculous their claim is. Their claim is so ridiculous that they think that this 0 can change, and somehow psychically the plane goes, oh, hang on, the gyro changed, that means I must change. No, either the pilot changes it, right, or the autopilot holds exactly where it is. There is no mechanism in an airplane, and there never will be, for the mechanics within an airplane to psychically connect to a mechanical gyro. That will never happen.
Yeah.
Now,
But you know what? It's weird because they don't understand the mechanics behind the gyro. They think it is trying to adjust for a gravity force that's not there, as you said. It's just simply putting it back into its rigid plane because it has a rigid plane set. It's as simple as that. It's like trying to force a spinning tire out of its reference. It wants to force itself back. And that's all the pendulous vanes are doing.
Exactly. It's just a damper system. Like for this to happen, for this blue line to change its position, then the gyro would have to be fluid in space, making it obsolete. It would also make the lift effect obsolete, because what would happen if this was happening, right, and this didn't happen, right? This wasn't following it, right? So the pilot wasn't there. Although that's after going down, we better follow it. What would happen would be, if we go back to here, right, it would be this pitch angle would be changing from here to this bigger pitch angle. And what would happen then? They'd be raising in altitude because their pitch would be so much higher above the now 0 line. And what would happen then? They'd be going up into the flight path of other planes. It would be absolute carnage. What they're trying to claim is stupid, crazy nonsense that they didn't even think out themselves. There is no way out of it. The pitch data proves, without a shadow of a doubt, the Earth is a horizontal plane. End of story. There is no more debate to be had. Now, the debate will continue because people won't understand, especially in their opposition. They won't be letting go. But there is no more debate. That's it. It's over. What they're claiming can't be done. It can't be done. This can't be violated. End of story. That's the end of the presentation. Thanks for watching.
That was awesome. Really, really appreciate it, man. But yeah, it's like you can't make it more simpler than that.
Yeah.
You can't.
No.
There is no pitch data showing that they follow a curve like they claimed. Planes debunk Earth curve. And guys, by the way, this is direct measurement. So this is they say how you measure the Earth flat, pitch data. There we go.
Exactly. They've literally measured a distance there, right? And they've measured it based off a horizontal plane reference. You know, horizontal can't change. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If there was changes happening to the gyro, then all those mad pitch changes would be shown, because there'd be big, massive. See these kind of big pitch changes up here. There'd be loads of them. They're the ones that they use for takeoff. There'd be a load of big pitch changes like that in every flight, because they'd never have a smooth line, because there'd be a constant change in the pitch of the gyro. A change in the pitch of horizontal. It just sounds so crazy, but in the end of the day, what this is going to show is how crazy our opposition are, because of things they're actually saying. Actually, just to prove, just for a second there, if you just give me a second, I'm going to show you.
I was just going to say, show us some comments, Brian.
Why are you doing that? But this is also why I keep telling them, do you know why they set the gyro spinning on the runway? There's a real good reason for that. And notice that horizontal set on the runway is the same horizontal when they land on the new runway.
Yeah, it's the same. The horizontal can't change. But just so people know that I'm not just making this up, here is just a random comment, just that I got yesterday or this morning or something. This is just random. Now, I've gotten similar comments from commercial pilots, or claimed commercial pilots, from all kinds of people on the globe side. I'll just read just some of this. At Brian's Logic, saying that circles are not horizontals is another FE straw man.
What?
Oh, what the?
Every point on the globe wasn't going horizontal and tangent plane. You were twisting that up in your own mind because you'd assumed by default that the Earth is flat. I don't know how to fix that for you. It's like,
oh my goodness!
It's a straw man to say that horizontal is not a circle. That's what they're dealing with.
And he types that out thinking he's sounding.
Yeah, as if he's saying something important. Do you know what I mean? As if he's making like. I'm not making a claim.
A lot of these accounts are, Brian, the same person. You can tell with things that they're saying that.
Yeah, same style of writing, same insults. You know.
Yeah, I understand that a lot of them can have the extra sock accounts and all the rest of it. But all that matters to me is that the average everyday person who's a sane person sees this. I like when people come to my channel and they say, your channel is just so full of negative people. And I go, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. And they go, wow, these people are crazy. I said, yeah, they are. You have to be crazy to think that saying that horizontal is not a circle is a straw man.
I know, that's ridiculous.
Do you know what I mean? And I had Trevor Austin, who's acclaimed. He suddenly became a retired commercial pilot when it came time to get pitch data. But right, who is definitely, from what he tells me, definitely a pilot. Right? I know from his knowledge, because he's even corrected ballers when I was correcting them. He even corrected them when I was correcting them on stuff to do with flight. But he tried to he's tried to support some of these type of comments. It's like, Trevor, it's over. There's no way out of it. Do you know what I mean? You can't support that kind of crazy nonsense. A circle is not a horizontal. You know what I mean?
I'm reading through your comments, Brian. They'll be like, we've told you this before, Brian, and you've been told this before, Brian. It's like, wow.
Yeah, you've been told 1,000 times. What have I been told? What have I actually been told? That horizontal is not horizontal. That's what horizontal changes its orientation in relation to
it changes its orientation. Wow. In fact, if that's the case, it's not bloody horizontal, it's a constant.
Well, exactly. But I mean, that's what Bob the Science Guy did with me. He takes a ball, takes a plane, says, no, it's not dipping the nose down, and then literally dips the nose down around the ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, we've all dealt with it. What I find myself, we've all dealt with it. What I find myself is that at present, is that if you've been in this a good few years, at present, I find a lot of flat earthers are getting very irate with the ballers, and they're likely to get very nasty with the ballers and say nasty stuff to the ballers simply because it's been so many years of them just being dishonest. They're just being dishonest. And when they're not being dishonest, they're just not willing to learn. The ones that aren't being dishonest, a lot of them aren't willing to learn. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And
Yeah,
it's just frustration. Sorry, Flatzoid, go on.
So, yeah, it's frustration because you understand the guys being dishonest, and it's like you're hitting your head against a brick wall because they choose to be as dishonest as they can. So yeah, we do get frustrated, and obviously you will insult the guy eventually because the guy is being obtuse on purpose.
Yeah, and what they want is for you to insult them so they can then use that as a character assassination against you. Look at this flat earther, what he said to me, or she said to me. It's like, yeah, the only reason they said that, but there'll be no context into why that was said. Do you know what I mean? Or after how long did that flat earther dealt with you before they said that? After 7 years of your lies, they eventually told you to go and drink bleach. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's just what, and I find that this is what's happening with flat earthers. They're just losing all patience with the opposition. Because what will the opposition do? They would try and join, right, let's just say a stream like this, and come in with the exact arguments that I showed them to have and to be completely ridiculous, right? And show them to be the implications of zero changing with the gyro doesn't mean that the plane is going to change its pitch. So all is going to happen is the plane is going to have a higher pitch above that zero, and it's going to raise in altitude, right? So it means it couldn't hold an altitude. None of that can happen. But what they would do is they'd come in and try and address it with the very thing that you've just addressed. Now, the problem is they can't address this. All they can do with this is try and add as much confusion as possible and add in as much lies as possible. And I've even come across ballers who are claiming to be flat earthers, and even some of them claiming to be pilots, trying to tell other flat earthers, oh, stay away from this, it's not a good argument.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? That's what you're dealing with. So this is not an argument. This is the thing. When they say it's not a good argument, they want you to then accept it as an argument. It's not an argument, it's just a fact. Planes don't do what they would need to do, fly around the globe, it's over. The pitch data proves a flat plane. End of story. No way, buts, no maybes, no way out of it.
Yeah. And the reason like Wolfie and them didn't want to present it is because they know this. So it shows them to be dishonest.
Brian, has Wolfie responded to this at all?
I haven't heard one thing from Wolfie. I did come across him in Duffy's, in what's his name, one of Will Duffy's videos, and I just put pitch data LOL into a comment he had there, no response. Hey, what can he do? Because as soon as he comes near me, I'm going to be pointing out, you had 8 years to get this and you avoided it. And the reason he avoided it is because he knew there was no way to address this. He knew there was no way around it. And
but remember, I also told him like a few months ago as well. Again, they wanted to debate me after Bob the Suns. I said, "Yeah, sure, just bring the pitch data with."
Yeah,
still hearing tumbleweeds.
Yeah, nothing. You know what Wolfie has been over the years as a bully, going around trying to look for flat earthers who are easy prey. There was even one flat earther that he supposedly debated at one time, and this guy didn't sound like a flat earther. He sounded like a baller trying to pretend to be a flat earther, and he was like really shaky. He was even nervous doing that. It's like some guy no one ever heard of, right? And Wolfie supposedly debated him. There was another guy that Wolfie supposedly won a bet for 100,000 or something with this other flat earther who nobody knew anything about. Nobody knew.
That's a thing that really bothers me, though. I mean, a lot of these guys, they debate people that you think, are they really flat earthers? Because they're very questionable, especially in the arguments they bring and the way they present. It's like, are they stuck in 2015 where they haven't heard of anything more than 3 minutes? You know what I mean? Things like that. It's like, there's something odd.
Well, I've heard what they'll do is they'll take something that's a good argument, right? Let's just say they take something like the Black Swan, or just something as or surveying or something, and they'll take that and they'll bring it up in a debate, and then it'll be basically some baller will take care of that easy with some nonsense, right? That wouldn't get past us for a second, right? And the flat earther goes, oh, okay then. you know what I mean? It's like you're not a flat earther. You're only pretending to be one.
Yeah, because he just accepts it. He
Yeah,
just
he's a
accepts it.
baller
Exactly.
pretending to be. Yeah, just playing a role.
No, I've seen that a lot. They just say, "Oh yeah, okay." Then what about this? Then they move on to the moon, and then oh okay, what about that? Instead of just rebutting anything, they just accept it.
Well, what I would say is Adam and QE's portion of the presentation wasn't here. Now, Adam showed with his data. It's funny that Adam's data matches this data perfect. The data he personally got back 8 years ago on a flight, he shows that through the accelerometer, the direction of down never changes. There's no diverging. It's all the downs are parallel. Right, all the downs were parallel, and his data just happened to match this data perfectly. And QE's portion of the presentation, the one he's done for years, just happens to match this perfectly as well.
Yeah, because I mean, they're not changing. They're not changing the amount of thrust. They're not changing their pitch. They're not changing anything so they can go over a curve. There's just nothing changed. They're keeping it at a constant.
Yeah, that's the whole point. If you the 2 hour portion here of the, I'm just going to go. Where are we? 1 second. So just short. Where's it gone?
And the thing that they don't understand is because the gyro is set in a rigid plane, if the plane is physically going around a curve, it physically has to show pitch change.
Yes, there's no way around it. Like, what they've got to do is they've got to ignore the existence, of horizontal. They've got to ignore the lift effect. They've got to ignore the mechanics of a gyro. They've got to basically, throw all that out the window to make their claims. It's ridiculous. They're trying to say that you can fly around a circle without pitching below horizontal. That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
You don't need to go. Don't let yourself. This is not for you, but for people out there who might be new to it. Don't let yourself be fooled by these people, right? To fly around a circle, you must fly around a circle. That means you must pitch below horizontal. You can't fly around a circle without pitching below horizontal. They want you to believe that that circle is horizontal. It's
insane.
Crazy people.
You can get time down.
But yeah, I don't know. Anybody in the chat? Do you have any questions for Brian?
I'm going to have to go in about 4 minutes.
2 minutes.
So
Yeah.
I've seen a few bits and pieces there, but it's mostly like stupid stuff from people like Elder.
He's a right idiot, man, isn't he?
Sorry, Michael?
I was just saying he's a right idiot, Elderbear, isn't he?
Oh,
No, I'm telling you, he's a proper
attention seeker. That's all he is.
numpty.
Look, there's no way around it. I sent you the PDF flats, so you have that there to present anytime you want. This is the first. This you'll see it the minute you go down. I think it's page 6. This is the page that comes up. I mean, there's just no way around it. There's no beating it. You know.
Yeah, it's page 7.
Pedler says we're lost. Why don't you come and tell us why we're lost then?
And go back pedal, go to the top. Oh no, we can't. You can't. There's no link. Well, no, on another night, go and tell us how we're wrong.
Yeah, they can't. This is just people. They can't tell you that how you're wrong. They can only come in and try and basically gaslight you into believing that they're right.
That's right.
Right, by changing reality.
I want to know something.
In reality. Sorry?
When it sets it to autopilot,
yes.
Okay, the system would have to automatically account for that curve.
Yes.
And the autopilot never ever accounts for curve.
No, it doesn't. It can't.
Huh.
It just
That's weird.
Exactly where the pilot had it. That's the whole purpose of it.
Ah, that's weird.
Yeah. It's not much different than in your car. You set a speed and it holds that speed. Well, the same thing in an airplane. It holds that speed and it holds the pitch. I mean,
exactly.
There's no way around it.
You couldn't set an autopilot to be doing loop-de-loops and stuff like that.
No, it's the same. Like you said, you set your cruise control in your car.
That's it.
And that's the speed it wants to keep.
Yeah, when you
if you have realized if you have cruise control and you go up and down hills, it either accelerates or it decelerates to try and keep that constant.
Yeah.
and it gives data based on that.
Yeah.
Now a plane does the same thing.
Mm.
It has to give data on putting more thrust or less thrust so you can change your pitch on keeping with the level. None of that changes. It stays the same.
That's it. Cruise control's because it's not going to steer for you, is it? Like
Yeah,
Michael,
exactly. Yeah.
it's not going to steer
It
for
doesn't
you.
change the
It's
pitch.
steady.
See, if the pitch changes at all, if there's any pitch change at all, there's warnings immediately. So
Exactly.
for like if zero was changing and going down, if the gyroscope was changing and going down around the curve, then as soon as that would happen, there'll be a warning immediately in the cockpit because the pitch is changing while in autopilot. Do you know what I mean? Because it would be an increase of pitch in relation to if that zero was going down, then that would be increasing the amount of pitch. So that would be a warning because then the plane would be rising in altitude, or if the autopilot tried to follow it, it would not that it can do that. There'll be a warning. There's just no way around it. The whole purpose of autopilot is that it holds a constant. The reason it can do that is because that plane is on a sky highway. You know what I mean? That it's staying on that same path, the same direction that it's going. That's the whole purpose. Its whole purpose is to hold the same pitch and altitude. That means it has to hold the same pitch and same speed. Excuse me, that's set you. And that 2-hour window shows that perfectly. That's probably pure autopilot. That 2-hour window. It's probably just pure autopilot. And
well, they usually do set autopilot for most of the time.
Yeah, as I said, there was an engine issue with this flight. So I mean, the rest. So that's why there was changes in pitch and altitude after that. But that's probably down to their engine failure, right? But for that 2 hours, there was no problem. So because there was no problem, the altitude stayed constant and a straight line, and the pitch stayed constant and a straight line.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's autopilot. They took it off autopilot when there was a problem. So what the boarders are claiming with zero changing, which is impossible, that would instantly be considered a major problem in the cockpit. You can't have that. That would be a change of pitch and a change of altitude and possible crashing and disaster.
Yeah, because what this data says is if it isn't changing pitch and the Earth is curving away, they would eventually stall the plane.
Yeah, what would happen if somebody wasn't watching? What would happen? The plane would go into a stall because if the zero is going down and that's staying in the same place, the pitch is staying as it was originally, then what's going to happen is it's going to reach a stall. If someone is drinking coffee and talking to one of the air hostesses or on the phone, which, do you know what I mean? What's going to happen? Disaster, isn't it? So seconds from disaster. That's what these people want you to believe. They want you to believe that reality is different from what it really is. You don't have to do that. This is all you need. You know, I don't know how it's going to. The more people get to see this pitch data, the better, because the more ordinary people, everyday people in the world get to see this, right? Consensus then will sway to us, and rightly so. Not the consensus proves anything, but consensus, like any ordinary person could not start thinking that horizontal is a circle. They can't do that.
Well,
I mean, the everyday person on the street is not going to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to, even my wife, she comes around, she's like, who's that guy? Is he so stupid? He's saying horizontal curves. It's like, yeah. I've got many people like, what the hell is up with these people saying horizontal curves? And these are normal ballers.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We're dealing with a small group of crazy people. That's what we're dealing with. And dishonest people. Unfortunately. Now, they're not all bad, right? Don't get me wrong. But there's a large contingent. But the more they're shown to be wrong, the more nasty they get, the more trolly they get, the more dishonest they get.
That's right.
So we've got to defend against that by not allowing that to affect us. It's hard because it's hard to not tell them to drink bleach, because sometimes they infuriate you. But you know you regret it afterwards because they want you to say that. I mean, they want you to get angry like that, and then they can use it against you. And as well as that, you don't want to be telling someone that stuff either. That's what we were told when we first came along. I don't know who else was here back in 2015, but I was told, drink bleach, don't have babies, shoot yourself, hang yourself, usual, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
It was. I don't want to be them. If they wanted to do that back years ago, that's on them. I don't want to be them. Now, obviously, not all of them said that to me, but there was big portion back then that did say it. It's like, no, I'm not interested. And that they want to infuriate us so we become that. Don't let that happen. We know what reality is. This is proof of reality in the story. Listen,
I agree.
I hate to do this. I would like to stay longer, but it was either come in late and try and do it late, which would keep you up, Flatzoid, I'd say, or come in early and leave early. So I have no choice.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
It was an awesome presentation. I really appreciate it, and I think you made it nice and concise for people to understand easily.
Definitely.
Yes.
Great, Brian.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thanks very much. And I appreciate you having me in here. And now
Any
how to
time,
get
man.
out of here. How do I get out of here?
there's a thing on the top right.
Oh, there it is. Up there. Leave.
But thanks for coming, Brian.
Nice one,
I
dude.
appreciate it.
I sent you on that PDF, Flatzoid, and I'm going to get you the link for anyone to download it, and you can put, because you're going to probably hear about this later on or in your next stream or whatever. So I'll get you the link so you can go bring people to where their PDF is on the NTSB site. Okay.
Sure. Thanks very much, man.
Thanks,
Blessing.
That idiot's in chat now saying nobody claims horizontal is a circle. That is a straw man. Steve Bowman, mate, you are after that.
Oh, really?
Wow. My God, I'm leaving just in time.
Right on cue.
He literally contradicts his own claim, guys. Nobody claims horizontal circle. What is wrong? Horizontal changes at every point on a sphere. That is saying it's a circle, you dipshit.
I think we've all had Steve Bowman as a troll. He's not very bright.
Yeah.
That was a good presentation. And guys, subscribe to him. His link is in the description below. I think it's awesome stuff. Oh, we're finishing a bit earlier tonight. What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, because it's a little break before we're going. Vicky's on at half. Vicky's on in an hour. So.
And yeah, I've got a video.
I don't think I'll make it, Vicky. I'm sorry.
Oh, we can't know that anyway.
I'm so tired.
I did.
No, it's because it's the only time I can stream where it's a good time in America.
Yeah. I understand.
I won't be on tomorrow.
Watch it after the fact. It makes no difference, like.
That's it. Oh, of course.
We're doing a mental health stream tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind joining on that one, like, but.
And sadly, I've got a mental subscriber today.
That's true. Yeah.
And then, guys, I've got a video coming out tomorrow. Probably on this one. Just a heads up.
Oh, nice.
They'll be thinking that they'll be reading into that.
Yeah.
I bet you.
So yeah, be prepared tomorrow. I was wrong. Ooh. Hey Jeff, what did you think?
That was really good. It was really well done. He explained it very concisely, and because he had no interruptions, which was great. And that's one thing about presentations is like people tend to just like, oh, they have to cut them off to get you off track, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really good. It very informative, and it just proves a lot of things that we already know, right?
I got a notification from Luca, live streaming, something like playing a game and checking in on Flatzoid's stream.
Right now?
About half an hour ago.
Hey, Sandro, I did. Yes, we did know Roger was snoring at the end of my stream. When we left, I had to kick him out of StreamYard so he didn't wake up on his own. And
Look,
so we did know.
At least I'm not the only one that snores on PJ's stream.
That's it. Oh, so Luke is doing a Sean Hawkins, man.
Stalking.
He's doing a Sean Hawkins.
Sorry, it said doing some maths and checking in on Flatzoid's stream.
Right, doing some maths and very quick look at Flatzoid's stream.
He did a cooking video, apparently. I haven't seen it, but he did a cooking video.
Cooking with Luca. But yeah, it's
Flats, remember the thumbnail you gave me for Luca's second stream? Can you do me a favor? Can you take the part 2 out of it and resend me it so I can put it on the original one? So then it's not a part 2. It's so your thumbnail hasn't gone to waste, sort of thing.
Okay, I can send you all the stuff as well if you want to. You can move it around because you're doing Canva, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do have Canva, but no, I just need the thumbnail. Remember it said part 2 on the thumbnail. If you just remove the part 2 and then it's just then I can just stick it on the fast stream I did with them. You know what I mean? So your thumbnail hasn't gone to waste because obviously I didn't do the second one with them, and the thumbnail was part 2. I could easily cover it, put it in Canva and cover it, but if you've got it with that, then it's cool.
Okay, now I'll do so. And guys, yeah, do make sure you join Vicky's stream just now. It's going to be quite good as well.
It'll be Vicky ranting about the voices in her head and stuff.
I don't have voices in my head.
I'm joking. Man. You gotta make light of these things sometimes.
So should I put the link in the chat? I'm too scared to.
What link?
What, the stream link? Yeah.
Chat
You can put
You've got a half an hour.
Yeah. God, I think she's put it in chat a few times already.
There we go. There's the link if anybody wants to come in just to chat for half an hour before we end the stream.
Yeah.
No fanatical ballers tonight.
Moly.
Yeah.
You're fanatical. Boy.
I'm not talking to him anymore, me. So.
Yeah, no.
After last night, I kind of realized that what's the use?
Shouldn't.
The people we're dealing with, these anti-flat earthers, they're not changing their mind. They've chosen.
No.
And I realized as well.
Be dishonest.
Yeah. I mean, look at the first guy that came in. Okay, he was all nice at least, but he was very dishonest. He every time we showed him, he just says, "Nah." He just hand wave dismissed everything. Just say, "How do you know that's flat?" After saying you can't demonstrate it on a flat surface, then says, "Yes, we're demonstrating how things."
I wanted
go down.
I wanted to add to that, but then that Christian come in and took over. You know
That
what I mean? I wanted to say, like, you're asking flats to prove that them tiles were flat. You prove C's curved.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Exactly. What's up, Ryan? What's up, Roger?
I realized as well,
I just wanted to say that was awesome, guys.
Yeah, it was a great job, dude.
No.
I realized from last night that with them, I got really triggered by that Christian and that.
Yeah.
So, and I got really pissed off. I mean,
I apologize
more than I usually do, but I realize I shouldn't really be talking to them. If they make me feel like that, I shouldn't talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They seem to bring out a frustration in a person because they weed it out of a person.
Yeah, it's that mockery for me, you know, when they're just mocking you, like it's.
Of course.
It's school bully tactics they use.
Of course, because I could have responded better.
That's the only way they can get their point across is by bullying and just insulting people, because they feel that when you insult someone, that means that that what they're saying is true and what you're saying is wrong. Yeah, and that's
they're trying to. Sorry, they're trying to validate their ego. What you're saying, right?
Somewhat, but I think it's just they're going against what Scripture says you should be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's it. That's what it comes down to.
Like you were saying earlier, Jeff, in Element, though, like we shouldn't really be talking to these people. They're non-believers. Like, we shouldn't be equally yoked with them. Like,
no, because okay, you can when you first meet someone and you talk with them, okay, and you find out what they believe and stuff like that, and you go okay, and then you can have a conversation with them. But if it tends to be toxic, that's when you go, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no reason to bring that toxicity into your life, because when you bring that toxicity into your life, it actually starts to get into get into things deeper, right, into your spirit and stuff, right? And we don't need that. We want our spirits to be strong with Yahweh, right?
Yeah. I know there's quite a few people that actually have testimonies and stuff. We should actually look at doing a testimony evening sometime.
Sure.
Everybody's doing that now. Vicky's doing that. I think Sergio was doing it for a while. I've done. Yeah, it's a good idea. Testimonies are always brilliant, man.
Yeah. So if you guys are who's ever interested in sharing a testimony sometime, just email me at flatzoid@gmail.com and get in touch, and then we can sort it out. Have a testimony evening or whatever. If there's more than one person, we can have more than one. Otherwise, set up for one person, because I think that can be quite cool. Do some positive stuff.
Yeah, that's excellent. Too right.
And we're going to start doing Monday evenings, members only streams for Monday evenings.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
And then from now on, it's only going to be subscribers chats, because I found if I leave it open to everybody, then there's a whole bunch of trolls coming in like crazy.
Of course.
Oh yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, I've started doing that.
Yeah, it starts to get like you want to like. It starts to almost get distracting, right? And it's like
it ruins show, and that's
sure
exactly why they do it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's it. Sometimes a stream becomes about just you banning anti-flat earthers and stuff like that, and trolls. You know what I mean? And that's not what your topic is about. And that's sometimes what it ends up becoming. You know? And that's what they want. Like we said, that's what they want.
Yeah, they just want to derail things, just like Luca does.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
sorry.
He knows this going now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's still
he knows
derails things.
He knows he's not getting on mine, even though he came in. I told him this morning, and it was mad what he said. I mean, like, come on. He says, "Well, what have I done wrong?" And I told him about the dumb thing and all that. I says, being two-faced and going back and forth between them, and how much I stuck up for him. Even to Vicky, I stuck up for him. And then he says, "Look, at least they didn't call you dumb to your faces."
Yeah, but that's worse.
I says, "That's worse."
Yeah.
Roger was there. Bloody Brian was
horrible.
There. Yeah. And yeah, no.
And then
I heard that little sneak do it.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Armstrong subscribed to my channel. I was like, great, hey, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't get about it is he said, "I'm not as bad as the other Glovers." I'm like, that doesn't matter, dude.
I know. He wanted my approval. Like he says, "Can you admit that I'm not as bad as the other Glovers?" I'm like, "Dude,
I can't I can't lie." So
Exactly.
that's what you say. I can't lie about that.
Exactly.
He takes up more time than any other Glover.
My question was, why do you need my approval? And you don't. Don't look at me. Don't look at man at all. Look to God, but he won't. He won't. And I realized as well, like Michael said the other day, he hasn't read the Bible. Why am I debating Bible contradictions with someone that hasn't read the Bible?
Yeah. See, he's just taking that little atheist's little cartoon thing and making it as truth, right?
Yeah, but it shows you. But there's only two ways you can deduce that little cartoon thing. Either the person's dishonest or has never read the Bible before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or both.
Or both.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely both.
Mind you,
Because
people who read Bible though can see contradictions, you know.
But you see, those people that usually make that usually just get like they find a webpage on the internet that give those contradictions made by a really idiotic atheist, and then they just run with it. They don't actually look into it themselves. They just say, "Oh, no, this contradicts this."
Mm-hmm.
So they don't actually know what's actually going on.
Like every single one of those supposed contradictions were taken out of context.
Yeah.
Every single one. You can't. You go look at it. You go, okay. You got to read the beginning, before and after of it to actually understand what it's actually saying, and then you'll know what it actually says. Not going, "Oh, well, that's what that says." No, that's not what it says.
That was the point of that stream. And yeah. But everything was taken out of context, and like that video itself, that's what was the, like say, that was the point in the stream, to go and get the scriptures and look at the context, because the video itself was just looking at the actual scripture, nothing before, nothing after, just what it says, and half the time it didn't see it properly either. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I just know that God is good all the time.
All the time.
God is good.
Amen.
Oh yeah, Jeff. How's the house hunting going?
Well, I don't want to say anything and jinx it right now.
Don't want you to.
Yeah, no, I am, and plus, like, I will let everybody know what's going on in a bit here. So it might be pretty good. So we'll see. Yeah,
Nice.
I'll
Pool
probably know
party
by
in the
the end
Jeff.
of the day.
Pool parties at Jeff, guys.
Yeah, I don't have a pool, but I do have a wood pellet barbecue, so I can have a braai.
Just make sure removal guys don't break it this time, Jeff.
Oh no, they're not touching it. I'm gonna move it myself this time. No
Well, if you want something done,
Yep, you got to do it yourself. Yeah. Yeah. No, the moving guys don't touch the barbecue. I'm the only one that moves it now.
Don't touch my barbecue. buddy.
Barbecue.
You should put a stick. You should actually make a board for it. Said my tabernacle.
No. Don't want to be sacrilegious, right?
Going to Oli of Oli's and Jeff's barbecue was sat there instead of Ark.
Yeah, right.
Don't touch a man's barbecue.
That's right. Yeah.
Hi, Rick.
oh gentlemen, I'm gonna step off. I gotta get back to work. I'll see you around.
You're right.
Roger, step off.
Hey,
Rog.
I'll step off that cliff. Yes.
No snoring.
No, I won't. I'm a wide awake.
Yes, bro.
Michael. Hey, PJ. Ryan, I'll see you tonight.
Later, bro.
Rick, what kind of panel is this? It's on Restream.
I think it's a panel of people, right? Sorry, bye.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so as well. I'm not a people anymore.
Aren't you people anymore, Ryan? About
He's a monster.
Flat. No, he's just joined on Kick. Obviously, hasn't. We had a presentation earlier, Rift. So if you want to, you can watch it from the beginning, and you can watch the presentation. Then you'll know what's going on.
There you go.
Presentation's ended. Now we're just chatting a bit.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was a fantastic presentation, by the way. No, Brian killed it, man. That was fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. Really well done.
Yeah,
I
can't
agree.
deny it.
I think it's information that needs to get pushed out a lot, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Therefore.
Yeah, because I don't know how long I've been asking Wolfie for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. Like you said, and a lot of people have been asking for it for a very long time. Mm.
I mean, the guy keeps claiming we do account for Coriolis, we do account for Earth curve, but there's no data to present that. It just doesn't exist.
That's it. That's
It the data presents goes against what they claim.
Yep.
It's actually sad.
Very much.
It is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I better head out here. I got some stuff I got to take care of. So,
Just
All right.
man.
God bless everyone.
There's Dad. Pleasure, man.
All right, see ya.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cable situation with the camera.
Oh yeah.
Because I ordered the power cable with the HDMI 2 mini, and then they didn't have stock of HDMI 2 mini, so they're sending the power cable on its own,
Right.
and they cancelled the other one because they had no stock.
Oh.
Now I had to order it again, but now they want me to pay a delivery fee.
Unbelievable, isn't they? Unbelievable.
But they're the ones that had no stock. So now we're trying to sort that out.
Wow.
That's the only reason I don't have camera at the moment, people, because my webcam just doesn't really want to work anymore. It's decided it's had its ends.
You're on the job. It's beyond the joke. To try and hit you left, right, and center.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to using the camera for doing observations as well, because
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
want to do some time lapses of the stars here.
No.
Because the
Yeah.
Milky Way here is so awesome because there's no light pollution.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be sound.
So I definitely want to do like, but what's nice is I can do like, like overnight streams, where it's just observing like the Milky Way or something. I think people like to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
Or the Southern Cross moving across the sky.
Moving across the sky.
Yeah. Didn't you guys know the stars are the things that are moving?
I've been told that. Yeah.
It's not. I guess they don't know that.
Tony Wilkins says, type 1 if you didn't take the slab jab. During a poll if I can have input.
Oh, okay.
Well,
What?
I have put in one.
What'd you do?
Well, no, but you wouldn't anymore, would you?
No, it was like 3 years ago.
Oh, no.
Well, I can tell you some people that I know personally that have taken it either have complications today.
Yep.
Or they're not around anymore.
Yep.
Do you know, the last time I had it, I felt like my throat was closing. It was awful, and I said then I'd never have it again.
Yeah. It's quite bad. Okay, what does our poll say? After 100 votes, can you deny the evidence? Yes, 30%. Shame. And no, 70%.
Right.
So, yeah. You can't deny the evidence. It's not a globe, guys.
Well, they do, though, don't they?
They do. They have to. It's part of the religion. Hand wave dismissal denying is part of the heliocentric religion.
This can happen.
Okay, I guess we can end the stream here then.
Okay.
I am anyway tired. I can't sleep. I had a lot of work today. I had to catch up a few days' work because I was finally back at work today. So it was quite a hectic day.
Sorry to hear that. Well, you sound like you're better. You sound a little better.
Yeah.
I'm a lot better. The medication is a good. But yeah. Okay. So, any closing statements? Well, I think we've given closing statements anyway.
I think we have, yeah. Fantastic presentation.
But do shout out your stream tomorrow, PJ.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not streaming tomorrow. I mean, for dinner, so I'm having a day off. So you won't see me tomorrow. I'll see you Friday. I'll stream on Friday, then I'll see you again on Friday.
And I'll be back at home on Friday.
And Vicky's going on Friday, so yeah. So Jeremy Bird gives a PayPal to go for dinner, so we'll go dinner tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah. He's PayPal is helping me to take my wife out for anniversary next Wednesday. So sponsored by Jeremy. Jeremy, you rock, man.
Jeremy does rock. Jeremy Bird, fantastic, bro.
Oh, Jeff is
nice,
back.
Man.
Michael Schumacher didn't see him.
Oh, is he?
Oh, I was hoping I was catching the end of the stream there, so I wasn't online.
I just saw you back there. I was like, okay. Toshiro, I don't need to debate Jaron on Christianity because he doesn't know what Christianity is.
Yeah, Christianity is not a religion either.
No. Sorry, Toshiro, but I'm really not interested in debating someone who's really hateful towards Christianity. It's not that he disagrees with Christianity. He hates it. There's a difference.
Go check P Brain's channel out. He's debunked everything Jaron's come out with regarding Bible. Ain't got clue what he's talking about.
Why would you want to debate Jaron on that? Because you know how he feels about Christ. He gets emotional about Christ in a way that he blasphemes. You wouldn't want to put yourself in that situation, dude.
I'm not scared of anybody, Toshiro. There's no point in debating someone who's not going to change.
I'll tell you what, Toshiro, send Jaron here and I'll debate him here.
There you go. I'll moderate. There you go.
I mean, he gets the most simplest things in the Bible wrong, like streets of gold even. Come on. It's no. It's just a waste of time.
Imagine
Okay.
Yeah, just to say that though.
I know. I mean, it's
Like,
very
why
being
come
very.
in just to be an ass?
I know it's a little bit.
Anybody, yeah, anybody that knows me, have I ever cowered away from a debate before?
Never, never,
Thank you. Yeah, because
never.
I just don't see the need for debating.
Why keep coming here pushing Jaren anyway, man? He's a Klondike.
I know you come in and agree with us on certain things, flat Earth and all that, but then when it comes to Christianity, you act like a troll, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks all for coming. Really appreciate you all. Much blessings, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Hopefully, we have another relaxed stream because I'm enjoying this. Good night, everybody. Remember to hit those likes, share the show. Appreciate everybody. You guys rock. All the patrons, all the members, everybody that supports me.